Welcome to the No Ideas original podcast featuring Shannon, Mr. Rob, and Ken, episode 168. What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Peace.
Good.
Yo, did y'all get a chance to catch what was it, a couple of weeks ago? I was down in Maryland visiting Zane.
What's up?
Oh yeah. I caught him. Caught him.
Yeah, I went.
What's up with Zay? What do you think? What do you think about the project?
Yo, he's in love with it. He likes it. We went to I went down to see my grandma because my grandma is down in Maryland. Spent some time with her.
Nice.
And then I popped in and chilled out with him for a little bit also. So it was a good experience. But we sat around, we listened to the music, talked about the podcast. It was good to see him because the last time I think I saw him was at our other grandmother's funeral. So we went and met him at the diner. He had his breakfast, and Z just being Z.
Yeah,
He's just being Z. That's all
I'm gonna keep it 100. Zane, I miss you, bro.
he keep it interesting all the time.
All the time, bro. All the time.
What's up with y'all though? How you doing? What y'all been up
good,
to?
Man, I can't complain. Like you said, we're planning for Green Tree as we speak. We're putting the menu together. We had some little things we had to tie up, but I think we're gonna pull it through. So we're looking forward to a big event. Some surprises too, man. So that's been on the radar right about now.
For Rob though, for the people that's tuned in that don't know what Green Tree is, tell them what Green Tree is.
Green Tree is a festival my wife and I started here at our house, our beloved home. We had the opportunity the first year to do a friends and family where it was just close friends, close family. They come and have a great meal, just sit out in the yard and have a great time. And then it turned out to be, when you're doing this again, then next year came up, we had a jerk fest. That came out phenomenal. So this year is going to be a carnival thing where we play games and stuff like that. So we do this as a way of giving back. My wife and I said when we bought a home, we will buy a home big enough where we can share with friends and family. So this is our way of giving back and also having a safe space for us to do it. Now, Green Tree means green tree. I'm gonna just tell you that. Along with good food, good company, great people, good atmosphere, we look to do this for a while, man. This is hinged on the back of the Nell's Kitchen project too. So
yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. I definitely I enjoyed it. Last year I was out there. 10-15 years from now, Green Tree gonna be Coachella.
We're gonna have performers already knocked down about 7 trees. I'm making space out here, man.
Yo, well, your neighbors is mad cool, so it wasn't no issue with knocking down them trees. What's up, young?
Listen, man, we got the greatest neighbors. One of them is Mr. Armangaro. Shout out to Mr. Armangaro, who's an actor. He's been acting and in the likes of The Sopranos and Beloved.
Can I say real quick? Yo, that man you don't see the butter soft levers like that no more. Like it was your birthday party, right? I was at your house.
Son. He came with
the Bronx tail butter soft level on.
Yo, he's straight up 100%. He's not a wise guy, but when you think he's a wise guy, like he has that whole mantra with him, man. God bless him and Miss Mona, man. Good people.
Jims, what up?
What's going on, y'all? Listen, man. Yada, what you been up to, Yada?
Listen, I've been just working with the music group stuff, trying to pull that stuff together, doing music stuff and trying to get stuff going or something. Got that college radio list going on, man.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. If you haven't already, or if you have, we asking that you again go out and stream the No Ideas original debut project. The curation is available on all digital platforms.
That's right. It's dope, baby.
Dope album. We dropping the video probably this weekend. We'll have the video for the first single, Big Facts, out, and we're talking behind the scenes about the next video that we want to shoot. We want to hear from y'all what you think should be the next video off the project, also.
Peace.
That's
check that out, man.
Word. Without further ado, though, we want to bring in our guest for this evening, Miss Diane Parker, author, empowerment coach, mentor, community activist.
That's right.
What's up, sis? Welcome to the platform. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
So let's get right into it. Who is Diane Parker and how did you get to this version of who you are?
Diane, first of all, I'm an I'm a mom first. That's
There you
number
go.
one.
That's right.
Number two, I am somebody's daughter, auntie, niece, neighborhood friend, all that good stuff.
All
And
right.
then I am the urban fiction author, Diane,
Right.
J. Diane. Um, I came into that writing a long time ago because I was the only girl. I had all brothers, so they didn't let me hang with them. So
Right.
I had to find something for myself to do.
So you a tough cookie, huh?
Huh?
You a tough cookie, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a big crybaby. I am a crybaby though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they, well, my mom, she grew up, she was a New Yorker. We was born in New York, so if you know anybody from New York,
You said
it's some toughness there.
I was gonna check your New York card, but you say York, like a New York.
Oh,
yeah, you said nah. You cleared it. You cleared easy pass.
So yeah, I did grew up a little, it was tough. I fought a lot of boys more than girls. I'm like, okay, I gotta find something constructive to do. So anyway, I started writing and sneaking books like the Omar Tyree books, the Zane books and stuff when I was reading those black love stories. So I'm like, oh, this is juicy, Fly Girl and all types of stuff. Right. And so anyway, I'm reading, I'm like, dang, I can do that too. I can do that too. But at the time I had to think about it. I'm like, okay, you like 14, 15, you can't do that for real.
Yeah, you gotta slow down. You gotta slow down a little bit.
Anyway, I started writing or whatever. And back then we didn't have so when you heard people say get it out the mud. We're not talking about, I didn't grow up with like a whole bunch of nice stuff and everything. Mm-hmm. Like you can do, get a computer, a laptop and write your stuff, you know what I mean? Right. Back then it was just a pencil and pad, you know what I mean? Pencil and paper. And just started writing my little stories then. And I was like, okay, it was coming together. Then after I started writing a little bit, I would stop and then I'll get back to it. Stop, get back to it. Then I picked up on it probably like a few years ago after I was in a coma. Mm-hmm. And I thought about, dang, what if I would have died without doing what I really love to do, which was write.
There you go.
Get my work, my creativity out there, and my passion for people, Mm. And that it was a scary, but I never experienced anything like that in my life. And when you have a traumatic experience, some people, it's sad to say that some people, sometimes we don't wake up until something drastic happens to us. We might not focus on our purpose because we got it okay right now. We working on 9 to 5, it's making ends meet. Right. Things like that, so it's really no push to really focus on your purpose and stuff. But when you have a traumatic experience happen to you or something like that, then it almost makes you hungry for it. So you're like, dang, I gotta go harder, you know what I mean? I gotta apply pressure more to this, that, and the third to make sure I get it done, because I may not get this opportunity next time. So that's where the J Diane came from. So I'm like, you know what, I gotta get into it. I gotta get it going. So yeah, I did that. Started that a couple years ago, and went on and picked my little notebook and stuff back up, and got my first book published, Diamond on a Dream.
Diamond on a
Dream. That took place in New York.
Can I ask you a question really quick? Because you went passive, but I don't want to. We'd be remiss if we didn't ask. You said you were in a coma. What happened?
Okay, so I was pregnant with twins, identical twins, and they were scared that then they was in the same sack, all this medical terminology. They didn't want their cords to get tangled and things like that. Right. So it was like, we're gonna put you in a hospital where we can watch you for a month. Okay, shouldn't be too much of a big deal. So I went on to the hospital, and like I said, I was there for probably a month. And that weekend, that Saturday and that Sunday, I was super, super tired. I just slept. I didn't want to eat anything. So I'm like, what is going on with me? Their father, he was there with me. And Monday came around about the same thing. Monday night, I just started. I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
Just out of the blue. Um, the when you see the fear on the people that are taking care of you,
On
when
their
you see the
face,
fear
yeah.
in their face, that makes you panic because you
Yeah.
like they don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Like what is about to happen to me?
Right.
So my oxygen level, what was crazy was my oxygen level was dropping. Um, Everything was just going bad and was going bad fast. And when you look at the monitor, everything was reading normal. So they didn't know what was happening.
So that freaked them out.
Yeah, so they had gave me the highest dose of oxygen they could give me on that floor. Those who know, the ladies, you guys, you fathers, you probably know too. Labor and delivery took me down to ICU. I remember like 20, probably 20 plus doctors was standing there talking and asking me this, and it had got so bad I couldn't even talk. So I'm
Wow.
sitting here with my phone. I'm texting my boyfriend. I'm like texting him so he can actually tell the doctors what I'm saying, And that was crazy, That Monday night after that, I don't remember what
Wow.
happened. I remember waking up with a tube, in my throat. I couldn't talk. It was
God bless you, sis.
something.
Wow.
Yeah, but I say when the doctors come, when they say, "Oh man, we didn't think you were gonna make it," everything was critical.
The
Everything was
Lord
critical.
did. The Lord said, "I ain't finished with her.
And I
Get her
said,
back up there."
what, God did it for me though. Because some people was
Mm.
like, "Oh, you lucky," and I'm like, "No, I sound
God
blessed."
said she got more work to do. Get her up right now.
That's right. That's right.
Damn.
I guess that's when you really decide to
well,
follow your calling.
right. That's right.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this: since becoming a full-fledged writer, what
Mhm.
has changed? What has changed most in your life?
Um, I'm learning to. How can I put it? I'm learning to be more transparent. I'm
Okay.
learning to be more vulnerable.
Right.
Because when you're writing, sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna hold this back."
You hit them trigger spots, huh?
Right, right. So it's like, oh, do I want to talk about that or I don't want to talk about that?
Right.
Even when you write, and then I go do these, speaking engagement stuff, and it's like sometimes people ask you things, and it's like you think you got over it, but you really haven't gotten over it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a trigger, and you like, okay, hold on, let me take a step back. But I'm learning. I have to be transparent. I have to be vulnerable. Just like my second release. Well, I just did Vibin through the shift, which
Yeah.
is a women's journal. It talks about my experiences with addiction, depression, burying my first child, all these type of things, that I went through. And
Right.
I had to be vulnerable because sometimes people, when you talking about depression, and you actually, because I remember like talking to people, they like, "Oh, I'm depressed," and this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, you'll get through it. But when you going through depression, you don't want to hear that. That's just the reality of it.
Right.
Yes, I went to church. Yes, I know people that prayed. But in my mind, it's
Right.
like,
Right. You still got to do the work.
I got to deal with it.
Right.
I got to figure
Right.
out. I got to find my way through.
That's right.
Just like with addiction, that came from losing my child.
Right.
But God makes no mistakes. The situation could have been a whole lot worse if the child was present. So I do find that writing now it does allow me that space to be vulnerable, to be transparent, so people can relate. People can find out how I overcame certain situations.
Right.
Sometimes people, they want to keep it cute.
Nah,
It's okay. You know what?
keep it dirty. Keep it
You
dirty.
got
Keep it real.
you have to keep it real with people. Because if you don't keep it real with people, people are not gonna take you seriously. They're not gonna have no respect for you.
Right.
They're not gonna really trust what you're saying. Is it right or is it wrong? You know, they don't have questions in the back of their head. They might not say it, but they
It's there.
definitely thinking it. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like being transparent and vulnerable has definitely took place since I've been writing.
Mm.
So from your first book to Vibing with the Shift, what how do you feel you changed as a person, or what do you think changed in the writing style? Anything changed in your writing style between the two?
Yes, most definitely, because Diamond on a Dream is a urban fiction novel.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about the two girls hanging in the streets of New York. They get caught up, you know, dealing with the hustlers and things like that. And here we go with
Diamond had
Diamond.
she had a little rough home
Yeah.
bringing up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading a little bit.
And so you know, once I wrote that, I
Right.
thought about it. You know, I had and keeping it real. I went back into that depression state again.
Okay.
And so the doctors had, you know, they was trying to give you medicine. Of course, you know, they want to push drugs on us. And try to get you to take all this type of stuff. And I said, you know what? Right is my outlet as well. I'm gonna put the pen to the pad again. And
Okay.
that's why I did with vibing through the shift. When you think of vibing, you think you just, you know what I mean, you cruising. But you vibing through the shift as the changes take place in your life, men or women, you know what I mean? You still going through. You going
Right.
through. It's a storm sometimes, but you still have to get through. So you
Right.
vibing through the shift. And that's where I talk about my different experiences and things like that. Me letting that out actually helped me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I won't carrying all that by myself. I'm
Mm.
releasing it so other people can hear it. Other people can feel. You might not exactly feel how I feel, but you could get some sort of idea of what I'm feeling. So that's why I decided to change that up. But Diamond on the Dream got a part two because it's a little cliffhanger on
Okay.
there.
Oh yeah.
And
All right.
a lot
All
of
right.
people did ask about
I
that.
was
I
going
got
to ask you
another
about that.
one. Yeah, I got another one I'm working on too, an urban fiction novel. That's gonna be a little juicy too. So yeah.
Okay, you cooking.
You mentioned
Cooking over there.
you mentioned vulnerability, and Brene Brown does a lot of. She's an author also, and she's done like really good TED talks on vulnerability.
Okay.
And I think that vulnerability is underrated in terms of just a lot of things like mentorship, being a leader, helping you grow as a person. Also, I'm just wondering from your perspective, why do you believe that people are reluctant to be vulnerable?
Judgment is one thing. You know, we live in a time now. I believe that people care too much of what other people think. Um, we got social media that plays a role in that. You know, a lot of people we'll only post the good things. We don't want to post the dirt. We don't want to post
Different life.
the
Yeah.
struggle. You know, we just want to post the good stuff. You know, so then that makes people reluctant because it's almost like, well, dang, they ain't going through nothing. How can they tell me or how can they encourage me to do X, Y, Z? You know what I mean? If you paint a pretty picture all the time, come on, now, eventually it's gonna show eventually.
Yeah, it's
But
gonna fall off the wall.
it's yeah. So people, I do find if you don't be vulnerable, people are reluctant to trust you because they where can they relate?
Great point.
Uh,
Yeah. There's you're saying like about how people are reluctant to show the bad times or the bad experiences that they're going through, and one of the questions that I had written down for you was talking a little bit about like adversity, like having researched you and heard a little bit of your story and watched previous interviews
mhm.
and everything. Like I see that there's been some level of adversity that you've experienced. I'm a firm believer that from adversity comes growth though. Like
Absolutely.
I like to see a person who has been through something demonstrate resilience
Mhm.
Mhm.
and show to people like, all right, I've been through things, but I've worked through them, and as a result of them, this is the person I've become. I believe, even though it's a cliche, I do believe that adversity builds character, and I think that we live in a society where people have become resourceful in a sense where adversity comes up and they figure out workarounds for adversity, or the bar is set very low where people step over it and then champion themselves because they've exceeded a very low expectation. So I'm wondering from you, any adversity you experienced, like how has that adversity helped you grow as not just an author or an empowerment coach, a mentor, an activist, but just as a person?
As a person, it's definitely humbled me. Um, it could be some people they get excited over like the expensive things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with something from Walmart. I'm humble because I remember walking down the street with my mom, me and my brother walking down the street. You had family toot the horn at you, you know what I mean? I remember being homeless. I remember being hungry, you know what I mean? I remember what it's like not to have anything or trying to get clothes from different people because you didn't have anything to wear. So that going through a lot of those different things, it has definitely humbled me as a person because now what I do, I get out here and I feed the homeless. I give them clothes and shoes and stuff, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. Sometimes you don't necessarily put yourself in those positions, but sometimes life happens and you in those positions. So you just have to, take it with a grain of salt, keep going. You're either gonna give up or you're either gonna keep going. I always say keep going. You know what I mean? Keep going, keep growing. So adversity definitely builds character.
And it's fortunate that you've used your adversity in a positive way to listen to get your message out and help other people. It always seems like the people who've been through adversity are more willing to share and to listen to help others than people who may not have seen certain things and don't understand it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I agree.
One thing you said that's very important is transparency. I've been dealing with kidney failure for the last 12 years. I just got my second kidney 2 years ago. So being transparent about what I've been through a scary situation where I almost lost my life at a hospital, watching the nurse and the doctors look at you like, how are we gonna save this boy? You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there and I had an IV going through my arm, and the IV was like a drip, but it was loosening my blood. It was filtering my blood so thin that I just passed out. So, what I mean by being transparent, you just always remember that the words that come out from you about what you've been through, they're gonna resonate with someone. And that's how I've learned to deal with being transparent. I tell people everything about a kidney, everything about blood pressure, everything about being young, everything about smoking, drinking, know your creatinine numbers, all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, don't hold back. Give them the dirty, because they're gonna need that, and by you being transparent. My question is there power in silence, or is there detriment to being silent?
That's a good question.
That's a good question because I would definitely say sometimes so I'll put it this way. Sometimes you need to know when to say and when to speak or certain things.
Right.
It's almost like if you know somebody's an addict and you're constantly talking about drugs or alcohol or whatever that person is.
Right. Whatever the addiction is, right.
So it's almost like you're poking the bear. Is you really encouraging that person or you just poking the bear? So you want to be silent in some situations, or you want to take a different approach, maybe.
Right.
Don't want the approach to be like you're beating a person up or trying to antagonize somebody. But maybe the approach. Sometimes you do need to be silent. I would definitely say. Sometimes you don't have to talk. Some people talk too much about things because I know it. Sometimes I have people, and I might I might be like, I don't know if I should talk to them about that. Because if I talk to them about that, they might go, you know what I mean?
Right.
Somewhere left, I don't want to hear it. But
Right.
so silence in some situations, yeah. And then sometimes you do need to speak up and talk to that person, encourage or whatever you need to do for that situation.
Right. I find it that the power in silence is when you're contemplating and you're doing some self awareness on yourself. You need to
Mm,
be
sure.
very, very, you need to be in a place where you can think. You know what I mean? To yourself, know something about yourself. That silence, I believe, is very imperative and important when you're
Very.
trying to figure things out. You don't want to make, like you said, you want to think before you speak. That
Right.
takes a little bit of silence. You got to chill out. You know what I mean? But then, if you get something wrong with you and you ain't saying nothing,
Yeah, right.
how am I supposed to know? So that's when that can become a detriment, and that's where
Right. It can
that's
become a
where the
problem.
transparency comes in. With yo, I tell people I went to two kidneys. I think two kidneys, bro. I lost my first kidney at 37.
Oh wow.
When I went in that dialysis room, old lady came before she even got hooked up to the machine. She tapped me and said, "Son, what you doing in here?
Mm.
Look at your environment. Ain't nobody here your age.
Wow.
Why are you in here?" And I'm like, this lady don't even know me. She wanted to know why I
A
was
wake
in.
up call.
That was the wake up call.
Yeah.
And I had to tell her, man, I thought I was living the best life. I was making good money. I was going where I wanted, but I wasn't checking my blood pressure. I wasn't going to that annual physical because
Mm,
I was somewhere in California or I was back in New York hanging with the boys. I go back when I come back.
mm-hmm,
And you
mm-hmm.
forget. But now you get this headache in the back of your head that won't go away.
Yeah.
Right.
And now your blood pressure is 267 over 195.
Damn.
Yeah. That's a,
You a walking stroke, bro.
That's what I'm about to say. Walking through.
They
yeah.
looked at, I'm being honest and I'm being
Yeah.
transparent. When I walked into that hospital, that man said, "Sir, you're not leaving. You're starting dialysis in 10 minutes
Mm.
because you got so much toxin coming out your body."
Yeah.
And that's enough. So when I tell my brothers now, yo, bro, go check your kidneys before I punch you in
Yeah.
your head. Something's wrong. Or go, just gotta be transparent. Let them know the truth, baby. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What is an empowerment coach? What exactly does an empowerment coach do?
So an empowerment coach is just encourage. I try to speak life into people. I don't speak life into dead situations, but I try to speak life into
Mm.
people. If somebody says they want to do something, normally that's how it starts. Somebody say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this, that, and the third." Okay, that's my job to encourage and to push them to do whatever it is that they want to do on a positive level. Sometimes in this coaching, it's not, there's no certification or anything like that.
Mhm.
But sometimes you'll have people that necessarily not really focus on trying to um, accomplish a goal that they need encouragement or empowerment from.
Mhm.
It's just I'm in a mood today. I need
Mm.
somebody to help encourage me. I need a boost or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, that's all, an encourager.
Yeah. You know what I think has always hindered people a lot of times from accomplishing certain goals or doing things? I think the overanalyzation of stuff and overthinking it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people get into the nuts and bolts of why, how things get done. And I'm not gonna front. I like that too. I like to know the intricacies of how things work and everything. But also part of me around certain things is just like just do it and see where it goes,
Right.
kind of thing. And I think that sometimes that hinders people ability to follow through on things. Like, a person could be like, I want to open a store, but
Mhm.
before I open a store, I have to find out where I get the place with. And these are logical things, but these are also detriments to prevent you from doing the stuff. All right, I got to find out where I get the location from. Then I got to
Right.
find out, I got to remodel it. And then where am I going to order the materials and the staff? And you put all these barriers in place that get you to a point where you're like, I can't get this done until I actually do all these other things. And then there are some people that be like, yeah, I want to open a store, I opened a store online, or I just rented a booth. You know, I sold my merchandise or whatever it is.
Right,
You know,
right.
and they haven't. It's almost like what you don't know. Sometimes not knowing helps you get a lot further because you don't know the different intricacies of all the stuff that goes into place.
True.
Wow.
You're exactly right.
Wow.
Because I know when starting, I remember years ago when I started writing, and so it was so many people was like, "Oh, you need to have an editor. You need to pay for editor. You need to pay for this publishing company. You need to do this. You need to do that." So it kind of like it'll make you kind of like doubt it or want to
Mhm.
quit before you get started. So it's like, okay, I got to put out this money to this person, put out this money to that person, and a few years ago when I decided to just go ahead and step out on faith and do it, it really wasn't that hard. You didn't have to do
Right.
all of this stuff, that people put out that you had to do this, you had to do that.
Mhm.
You could figure it out, find a way. I got online, I Googled, and I had one lady that I knew that was an author. So I called her son, matter of fact, to try to get in contact with her. This woman called me at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I was just getting off from work. I'm riding
Mhm.
down the road. She called me and she said, I'm calling to tell you what you need to do, to get your stuff published or whatever.
Mhm.
Ran everything down to me, and it
Mm.
wasn't hard at all. But sometimes you don't have people that's really invested like that unless they want something out
Right.
of it as well,
In return. That's
Yeah.
so and that's why I try to, some people they say, you need to charge people for this, you need to charge people for that, but I look at, if you're doing it genuine, you're doing it from the heart, I'm gonna get my
Mhm.
reward regardless.
there you
You know
go.
what I mean?
A great way of
Sometimes,
looking at
but I fed the homeless one day, and I think I was in Richmond or Petersburg. Fed the homeless. So here I am. I left the event. I'm going home. Stop by the grocery store. A guy on the little Willie what's the little boba cart. He's riding around the store. He pulled up behind me. I had my groceries, at least about $200 or whatever. He said, "Oh, I got that, ma'am. I'm gonna pay for that for you."
Look at that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you never know. It ain't always about expecting a dollar. Yeah, if that's what your, profession consists of, you giving
Mhm.
a service, and yes, you do need to get paid for your service. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if everything is about a dollar bill, even though we know money make the world go round,
That's
but
right.
if every single thing that you do is about a dollar bill and nothing can be considered as charity or just doing it from your heart, then that's where the problem comes in at. So I
Yeah.
always believe, you got to loosen that hand up in order to get something in your hand.
Yeah.
You know something though about urban literature? I feel like urban literature really opened the door in terms of giving authors who may not necessarily have those other additional resources a chance. Because I've read like several urban literature books where you could tell like the editing wasn't great, there were
Mhm.
grammatical errors or whatever it was, but honestly it didn't take away from the story. Like there are a lot of brothers that went to prison and wrote some of the best
Some dope
urban
books. Yeah.
literature novels I've ever heard. I'm
Work
like,
out
wow,
there.
you know.
You
Yeah,
got
and I look at it, I'm like, all right, grammatically, there are errors, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm like, it doesn't detract from the story. It's a great book. We had Shannon Holmes on before. We had Kwame Teague on. We've had a couple of
Yeah.
authors actually come
Oh,
on and just talk to us like about their stories. That's why you said Omar Tyree. I've never read any of Omar Tyree books, but I've seen like the titles are like Black Sugar, No Coffee, No Cream, or whatever it is, and the Zane novels and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, I tell people all the time I had to be convinced to read The Coldest Winter Ever, but that
mhm.
book is to me like, I don't know if y'all ever read it. That's a great book.
Yeah. My wife raves over that book, man. She bought a copy, went and got a copy signed.
Yeah,
Forget it.
Yeah.
that's and I would have never thought that Sister Soldier would write a book like that, but that book is The Coldest Winter Ever. Be More Careful. Terry McMillan used to have great
Terry
books. All of those
McGinnis.
books, when you think about it, kind of takes me back to the days of like the Donald Goines
Yeah.
novel,
I read
right?
those.
Yeah, you was gonna say something, Ken?
No, yeah, I definitely read those. 'Cause I think like a lot of stuff you're talking about as far as like the points and stuff like that, and the stories you shared and stuff is funny because when we were talking, you're talking about how giving and keeping your hand tight. I remember being in a restaurant and having a waiter there that he was in that he was kind of busy, but he did a really good job and I gave him a tip. Fast forward to like the next day later, I got a flat tire on the side of the road. You know who pulled over and helped me? The waiter from the restaurant.
How about that?
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. You never know. You never know where that help is gonna come in. You don't know where you may fall and you may need somebody for something. You never know.
That's the law of reciprocity, man. You put good deed out there, good deed in return.
That's right.
It'll always return.
Sticking with that theme, though, talk to us a little bit about the importance of community service.
Oh man, what I love. People. I have a passion for people in general. Um, and as far as like the community service, I enjoy it. I love it so much. Um, I love helping people. I love filling the need wherever there's a gap. I love just talking to the people. Sometimes when I do these community give backs and feedings and stuff, I would set it up, have like the food and everything, and make it look like a nice little cookout, family cookout. And it warms my heart. I see the people that come out, they get their food, they get their little bags and stuff, and then they dance into the old school music and stuff like that playing. And it reminds me of an old school cookout. And I find it very important to be involved in your community, not just your community, but wherever you can be a change at. And that's what I call myself, a servant for change. I don't want to just go out here and get the food, hand the food and go home. I want to go out here and I want to talk to them. I want to hear their stories. I want to learn something from them, because a lot of people that are homeless that's out here, what I'm doing is community service. It doesn't, it's not always they just lazy or refuse to get a job. Right. Some people have actually had stuff that was inherited to them. Somebody took it from them. Somebody in the family, So sometimes it ain't always, they just lazy and don't want to work.
Yeah.
That's not the case all the time. And then you have like what I do, summits and stuff like that for the community, for the youth, the young people. They need help. They need a ear. They need a role model. They need a mentor. They sometimes they just want somebody to listen to what they have to say, an idea or whatever the case may be. I know in my particular area, my county, over half of our brown babies are suffering with depression. Wow. And these are kids that's not even graduated high school. We talking about kids in the school system. So, and they're mainly the black boys. So that right there, and me being a mother of a child of a black boy, whose father has been incarcerated most of his life, it a light went off. I'm like, hold on, it's time to start doing something different. Right. We got to do something different. Are we preparing them for the world that they're going out here to? And I always tell my son, I said, well, it's never. I don't want him to go out here and be judgmental about race, but there are people out here that's going to be judgmental about you.
Right.
But one, you're a male, and two, you're black. So you already have a target. Right. So we got to set the bar a little different now. Right. We have to take a different approach, and that's what I tried to tell him. And then he started asking me hard questions. With Mom, do you think my dad loved me? He never, all he want to do is, do bad stuff so he can go to jail. Wow. When you hear that coming out your child's mouth, it's like, right. As a mom, it's like, oh man, I got to put him in a room with some men with substance. That was my thing. So I said, I'm going to start doing summits for the community. So a lot of the single moms who have boys can send their son, to these events and free events. I'm going to feed them. I don't speak at those events because I believe as a young men summit, they need to hear it from the men.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to have a safe space for them to feel like they want to express it to the
Yeah.
men. Because I know how I act, well, how my son act around me is not going to be the same as how he act around them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I try to do that as a community gift back, community service. I do the for the young ladies, I do as a tea party. And I'll call it what's tea because that's what the term they use now. So, but yeah. So I try
And this
to
is all of Virginia.
yes, yeah.
What
hmm
parts of Virginia?
I'm in little old town of Lawrenceville, Virginia. We have one
Okay.
stoplight. Yeah, but Richmond, Virginia, I do services out there. Petersburg, Virginia, I do it out here
I'm familiar
quite
with
often.
Petersburg. I got family in Petersburg, Colonial Heights, Hopewell,
Yeah, yeah, mm-hmm,
them areas there. There's
yeah.
a young lady that I follow on IG. She has a um a vintage clothing line. It's called House of Beverly. It's really
Mm.
dope. She's usually on IG selling some real
Okay,
classic
I think
Anne
I met
Klein.
her. I
Yeah,
met
yeah.
her at an event that was here.
Chastity Meredith is her name.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
She does a lot of community events. But community events is about being inclusive. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Community
Mm.
work. And it's bringing people together
yeah.
so we can work as one. And I like to believe why some of these young men are dealing with so much depression because they don't have any identity. Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question that's probably ringing in their head. Who am I?
Yeah.
Who do I have to reflect that looks like me? Can't be
Mm-hmm.
my mom all the time.
That's
It gotta
right.
be some sort of man figure that I can mirror off of. Like, I want to be that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all boys don't want to be rappers and basketball players.
Right, right.
Some of them really want to be a scientist. Like, really
Yeah.
want to be a scientist. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
You know, when I realized the like the power of mentorship, not only from a formal perspective, but also from an informal perspective. So probably I want to say it's maybe like 6, 7 years ago. I was at a barbecue at one of my friend's house, and like all of us started getting together, like all like people we grew up with. And one of the kids I grew up with, he came to me, he was like, how's your brother Stan? That which is right there in the lower right hand corner, Kenyatta. It's my
Yeah.
older brother. He was like,
Okay.
he was like, how's he doing? I was like, nah, he's doing great. He was like, I have to say, he was like, I went to college because of your brother. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He was like, he was like in the hood, nobody was going. He was like in the hood, nobody was going to college. But he was like, if Stan could go to college, I could go to college. And I was taken back by his aunt, Kenyatta. And
Okay.
he's a detective now,
Yeah.
the police department. But I was taken back by that because I was like, damn, like, it wasn't what he said to Aunt. It was just him modeling a
Right.
certain
The
behavior
image.
that
Yeah.
made him see and be like, oh, this is somebody who grew up in the same environment that I grew up
Right.
in and is doing something constructive. And he took that and he held on to it and he used it to advance to where he was in life. And that just made me really think about it. I'm like, damn. So, when we always think about like this mentoring piece, we always think about like the formal aspect of developing this huge program around mentorship. But there is that other part of just modeling, like you could be somebody in the community that people could see value in and have respect for and see you doing something constructive and be like, you know what, I want to be like that person and do
Right.
something also, and I was like, wow, like that's really, and still to this day, he'll be like, oh, how's your brother doing? And it's that. So he held on to that nugget, and he could tell you better than me. Kenyatta could tell you better than me how many interactions he's actually had with him, because I probably seen him in the same room 3 or 4 times in my whole life. But whatever he did, whatever he did.
Can I digress for 1 second? Let me digress for 1 second. Yo, Yada.
Yeah.
School, you affected some
I
people.
was telling people with that school stuff.
Oh yeah, tell them, Rob.
Oh yeah, tell that story.
Because TUD ain't gonna forget that, man.
Nah, I beat him in that reading school in 5th grade, costing them Christmas gifts.
That's right, bro. But yeah, man. I mean, black males, females, boys, girls, we all need an image, so we can have a self-image. And I know it. None of these children today have an image that they can reflect and see themselves in.
Yeah.
They cling to what's easy and trendy. Well, if they're doing that, I need to do it too. That's why music is so saturated. That's why, there's just a plethora of kids wanting to play ball. Like I said, science is cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's
You know what
tons
I'm
of
saying?
careers out
Knowing your history is cool. Where you come from.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's good to have those role models too. And we all play a part. You know what I mean? I have a young man that's staying with me now who his father decided to move to Florida, but he wanted to stay in Connecticut. And my wife and I, we put him up.
Mm-hmm.
Said, look, you don't have to go. You stay here. You finish school. We'll take care of everything else. We'll let you know, Dad, we got him.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's finished school. I got him a job at a barbershop. Now he's pretty much running the barbershop while the man who owns the barbershop opened another barbershop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So not only did he get a certificate from barber, now he's knowing how to run a business.
Mm-hmm. Right.
On an entry level.
Yeah.
You know what
Now
I mean? And that's how we work.
And now he has to make the same investment you made in him. He has to make for somebody else to keep it going.
Somebody else pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at it, I wish, as far as like the way people see you and the way you can do stuff, you could reach even more people. Because I could tell you just from being in IT, there's a huge we're underserved in IT, and there's huge opportunities in IT.
Right.
That's one field where you can do a lot.
Right.
Yeah, we could use definitely a lot of people in IT.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I want to switch gears for a minute because I had an opportunity to watch an interview that you did, and it talked a lot about forgiveness, right? And you were talking about like, I guess, like how you had to forgive, and the person I was interviewing, you was talking about the process of forgiveness for them. Can you tell us a little bit about why forgiveness is important and how, I guess, accepting forgiveness or, forgiving can help you advance as a person?
Well, I know what interview you're talking about. It actually took me, so I'm gonna start here. It took me about 10 years to forgive one individual.
Mm.
I know some people's like, oh, that's a long time, you know.
No, hold on. Let me, before you say, because my grandmom still hate people from 50 years ago.
Yeah,
so 10 years,
10 years is not a long
is not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Generational hate.
Yeah, so
10 years is not that bad.
Yeah.
So look, I didn't think so either. So I'm like, I got to be good. But so actually, it had got so bad. I would see this individual at the grocery store. Imagine we have one stoplight where I stay. So I'm constantly running into this person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh my God. And it was almost like all the hatred came back just rushing down.
Triggers, right?
And I'm like, it gotta be a better way. It gotta be a better way. So anyway, I'm like, I gotta let this go. Because I'm literally carrying it, he probably ain't even thinking about it, but I'm actually carrying that hate. It was a weight, I realized forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself. So you can release that and be free from that and move on with life. Sometimes we allow other people to have such control over us,
right?
Because it's almost like, oh, if I forgive them, I'm letting them get away. Well, you're not letting them get away. You know what I mean? It's for you. It's so you can move on and do what you need to do in life without trying to duck that person every time you see him somewhere or something like that. It's like, oh Lord, I don't want to see him because just something felt like fire or something was rising up in me. I was just boiling, So I'm like,
takes a lot of energy to hate.
it sure does. It sure does. And then it was moments where I was like, you know what, I ought to go do this, that, and the third, and let's just keep it real, you know. That's how I was feeling, you know. I was like, you know, if I ever catch him in the cut somewhere, it'd be a problem.
Choosing violence, huh? You choosing violence out here.
I was definitely choosing violence, you know, and I'm like, boy, you know. But now to this day, like I see him somewhere now, he'll be like, oh, I'm so glad, you know, that you're doing this, that, and the third.
Right.
How can I support your events and things like that? So, you know, not to be funny, it's like now I done forgave him. Now I'm getting his money to help do some stuff. But then I'm like, nah, not think about it.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
What was it? What was the moment that you had the epiphany? Like, I gotta let this go.
Let this go.
Because it was just too much every time. And like, first of all, like I said, it's so small, you know, and it's been so long ago,
right.
You know. What has happened, it's like I'm not holding on any attachment. Only thing I'm holding is that hate for him. So I need to just, you know, get over it, let it go. What's done is done. There's nothing I can do about it, you know. Just go ahead and just let it go, you know. So that's what I eventually did. Yeah.
Ain't that something though? But because you think about it, all it is a thought.
It is.
That's all it is. It wasn't no roadblock. Just a thought.
Just a thought.
Just a thought.
You hate
I see it in her face. She's like, yeah, I wanted to punch him in his guy.
Look, that's what I'm gonna say. Here I am. I'm thinking all I got to do is catch him in the cut.
You hate somebody for so long, you forget what you hate them for. You just know.
Right?
I know I hate you. I don't remember what I hate you for. I just know I hate you.
Get on my damn nerves when I see you.
I mean, I told my homegirls and everything. I said, girl, we ought to bank her one day. We ought to bank her one day. She said, we gonna do it.
Man.
But yeah, I had to let it go. It got old, you know.
Right.
Time to move on.
Explain to me what human opioid.
Addicted to the wrong people.
Okay.
Sometimes you could be addicted to people that don't even love you back. But we force it. You know, I know from how women deal with it. You know, sometimes we just trying to force it, trying to make it work.
Right.
You know,
and it ain't working.
Hold on, yeah. And the only thing we're doing is hurting ourselves. So you think about it, if you're taking a prescription opioid or something, which is a drug, you know, you're taking that the wrong way. Guess what? That can kill you as well. That can harm you as well. Right. So just trying to, I talk about, you know, being addicted to the wrong people. I've had my share of people that I was clinging to, wanted to hold on to, not let go. Not necessarily a man, but it could be an individual I felt that was beneficial to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to let that person go. So, yeah. But
human opioid. I thought that was a dope metaphor in that sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say addiction for what reason though? Like, what is it? What is it that keeps you addicted or connected to that person?
Money. It could be money. It could be the person presence. It could be what the person does for you sexually. It could be a lot of things. They just hold toxicity.
There you go.
For the person, toxic individuals. You know, you know this person is not good for you.
Right, but you make it up in your mind.
But you try to find every reason why they are good for you. But they're not. You know. Yeah.
So how do you break free of that?
Well, how I broke free from it was try to deal with other individuals that I knew that were for me, that loved me genuinely, that didn't do things because it was a benefit. It was a benefit for them. Not giving my body away because I wanted something.
Right.
Different. Yeah. So I found what worked for me was opening up my eyes and going and talking to different people, connecting with different people. It's not staying in that same circle of folks.
Right.
You
Right.
know, trying to
Broaden the
separate.
horizons a little bit.
Yeah, move around.
Yeah, move around.
Talk to us about vibing through the shift. You know, like tell us like more about in terms of what the book is actually about.
Okay, so I have different topics. Like human opioid, that's one of the topics that's in there. Purpose packing, careless. Um, then we have careless regret. No, river of regrets.
River of regret, yes, ma'am.
River of regrets. We have people that you thank people for you, people not for you. I feel like a lot of times in this day and time we get stuck thinking about, oh well, this one don't like me, I can't depend on this one, and it's just so much that people are putting out there. Nothing is really impactful.
Mm.
Nothing offers too much encouragement. They could tell you about the problem, but can't tell you how to get through the problem. They can't tell you a solution for it.
Right.
That's where vibing through the shift is, offering solutions for some issues. Now, I know I can't solve everybody's problem, but I can let you know what worked for me. You can try and see if it works for you.
That's right.
But like the folks said, what the older folks said, it beats a blank.
You got something.
Yeah, so we got a little something to work with. I just hope that this journal offers courage, clarity, and closure for people, because in there I have some questions that you can ask yourself. Doesn't necessarily have to be a woman. I got some men in about the books, okay? About the journals, and ask yourself these questions. Release whatever it is that's heavy. Release it, because sometimes everybody don't have somebody to talk to. Everybody ain't got no big circle of friends that they can sit down and confide in. I always heard a listening ear is a running mouth. So you have to be careful who you telling your business to. Well, in that journal, it actually helps you think of these questions, ponder about what is it who am I? Which is one of the questions.
Right.
Who am I? That's one of the questions.
Identity, man.
Yeah. And a lot of people, like for me, I talk about it, sometimes before you had the babies, you all right. And then once you had the babies, you get lost in other things, the looks, you get lost in and everything else, but what you really need to be thinking about.
Right. That's
So stay focused and man, me through the shift. A nice old journal.
And where can people purchase the book if they're interested in purchasing it?
So you can find it on Amazon, Vibing Through the Shift. You can just type that in, it'll pop right up. On Amazon, you can also purchase it off of my website, which is www.jdianeparkerllc.com. And I will be able to sign it. Send you a signed copy if you do it that way. Nice. I have them on hand, so if anybody want to shoot a message or something, DM me or whatever, hey, I'm gonna get it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna DM you after this. I wanna support you. Make sure we get your book out there. So I'll make sure I DM you after this.
I got one more. I got a question, Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us, because I like this. I like stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Manifested Monday. What's that about?
Oh yes, I'm glad you asked. Look.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
So the beginning of the week, somebody's like, oh my God, Monday is the worst day of the week. It's the slowest day of the week. It's this, that, and the third. People drag on Monday.
Yes, they do.
People take the drag from the weekends until the Monday, And I'm like, you know what? We gotta put a little pep in this. I'm gonna call this Manifested Monday.
Okay.
So whatever it could be a topic about anything that people need in life, and I just put a little snippet out there on Mondays. I slacked a little bit because I had a lot of stuff going on, but I tried to at least, I might throw it out there on a Tuesday and say it's Tune Up Tuesday or something, but I tried to.
That's right. Keep it creative.
Right. motivation
Right. Keep it creative. That's
through
right.
the week, because you never know who needs to hear it. Sometimes, what you said, somebody else might be listening, like, dang, I like what that brother said. You know what I mean? Or I needed to hear that.
Right.
So you don't know who it is, and I check the views and stuff, and I'm like, dang, all these views, you know what I mean? But you never know. Somebody may need to hear that. I've heard a lot of people send me private messages
Nice.
that
Nice.
ask me things about themselves. They might be like, "Oh, I'm glad you said this because I was actually going through this."
Yeah. See
Um,
that?
my child, I've got messages from parents about their kids.
Wow.
This was something I could apply to my child life. You don't know, you know what I mean? I'm just doing it from the kindness of my heart.
Right.
But you don't know the impact that you'll have on somebody's life. Just by keeping it 100, you know what I
You know
mean?
what? And that's a powerful phrase, manifested Monday. Just
Mhm.
because you bring it in the weekend, no one likes Mondays, manic Monday. It's a
Yeah,
moon day.
yeah,
It's miserable.
yeah,
Ah, all of that.
yeah.
I
So we
think
start from the
people will come
beginning.
with
We're
that.
gonna manifest it now, and we're gonna talk about what's going on. We're gonna talk about it
All
on
right.
That's what's up.
Nice.
I like that. I like that.
So, do you want to say anything in closing before we wrap up?
Yes, I have some. Well, I want you all to please be sure to follow me on Instagram, which is J. Parker, or you can follow Facebook, also J. Diane Parker, to kind of stay updated on different things that I have going on. These events that I put on, these summits for the young people, these empowerment summits for the older people, where they're talking to the younger people, or just setting a space where the kids can talk back to them, let them know how they're feeling. All of these events are free,
Right.
and sometimes I have, just like one I have coming up in August, which is a young lady summit. I'm actually getting a black doctor in to talk to us about our health. Black
Nice.
people have to start taking care of ourselves.
Right.
They,
Mm-hmm.
the things that and it's important for the black doctors that we know where our black doctors are, because the things like a medication that you think work for somebody else with a different type of skin may not work for our brand skin. So we want to bring awareness to that. So please follow me. That way you can check out the events. You can actually see what's going on. You can, visualize it. You can see what's happening.
Right.
Um,
Right.
see the setup. You can see what we're talking about. I have some clips from a young man that was incarcerated. Talked to a group of boys my last Young Man Summit a couple weeks ago. So if you get on there, you can follow me. You can see everything that I'm doing. If you want to sow a seed, I don't say really donate. I'm getting away from that because people are funny about donating because they don't know where their money's going to. So I definitely I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
But if you want to sow a seed or anything like that, you have all my information. You can just send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, or my website, whatever. And you can actually see the different organizations that I help with, the communities that I help with, the young people. And I'm doing this for free. Sometimes I
Mhm.
want my money that I work for my job to help feed somebody else's child or anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and that's one thing I don't broadcast a lot. I don't put out people names who I'm helping on a personal level,
Right.
because
Mhm.
they have confided in me. They trust me with their
Yeah.
business. So I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I do it from the heart. So it's no need for me to be broadcasting on Facebook. Oh, I fed this family because they ain't had X, Y, Z. That if I gotta do that, I don't need to be doing it at all.
It's
Yeah.
just, I swear you should. You should. I don't mean to cut you off, but
Mhm.
I just feel it in my heart. You should. You should really link up with House of Beverly. I'll,
Okay.
I'll DM you her IG. You should really link up with her because she's doing some good stuff. And she got a little tea time table with a couple of sisters where they talk about little nuances and all that, little cool stuff. And she's right in the community of Petersburg. So I
Yeah.
think you should link up with her.
Yeah. And believe me, the work that you're doing, like even as far as the donation stuff, you know, like the fact that you offer transparency, it helps. I think that if people are transparent with the donations that they receive, and people are more open to donating and helping out. Like people out here, they want to help out. They just want to make sure that the money is actually going to the cause.
Right.
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 Exactly. And that's why
So,
I try to put it out there, let people see where the money is going, what your money
mhm.
do.
You're doing right. That's right.
Yeah.
On people for prom. I had so many people donate. I had barbers doing free haircuts, stylists doing free hair,
Nice.
Mhm.
makeup artists doing makeup for free for these high school seniors that couldn't afford it. The parents came up there crying because that was one less expense they had to
They
worry
have
about.
to pay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and even down to the building, the woman, she said, I love what you do. I'm going to let you, I'm not even going to charge you for this space. I want to give it to you so you can use it to do what you have to do because what you're doing, it makes a difference.
Right.
And let me tell you, people gave donations, limousines. I had the limousine
Look at
out
that.
there. I
Yeah.
had
Mhm.
some bikers and say, hey, I need y'all to escort these babies in for me. Uh, it was nice.
Nice.
All that is on my page. You can see everything. What your money can do and what your time can do for real.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
to, to to make a difference. You know what I mean? It doesn't take a whole lot, but yeah, everything is on my social media platforms. Everything is up there.
Okay.
Nice. Nice. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the No Ideas Original Podcast, episode 168, featuring J. Diane Parker. A couple of things, if you haven't already, please stream the Curation album. That's our first project, No Ideas Original. We have a lot of great records on that project. I'm really proud of it and the work that we put into it. The other thing is, I was just looking, like all of us got on the No Ideas Original
Ah,
T-shirt.
we were
We don't
uniform.
do enough promotion of our website, no ideas original
We were in
llc.com. Want
uniform.
no ideas original merch. And again, thank everybody for tuning in. Have a good night. Thank you, Jay Diane, for
Thank you.
joining us this evening. We'll
Thank
catch
you.
everybody
Thank
on
you
the
for
next one.
having me. Thank
Peace
you.
out, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Peace.